challenging, intense, and some of the best times I've ever spent on me. That's how I would describe the level 4 course. So I would like to share with you some of my journey on that course. And my name is Jane Randall. I'm going to actually use some slides that I used on my final level 4 presentation. A bit clunky there. And I'm starting with this one, which is a sketch note. It's a technique I found on the journey. And I put this together just actually before the level 4 panel presentation at the end of the 2 years. And for me, this just brought together all the challenges and the aha moments that I'd had along that journey. In the first year, it was pre-pandemic, and we were able to meet at university and have some 2-3 days and stay overnight. In the second year, like everybody else, we were in lockdown, and so remote learning actually took on a completely different meaning for me because I was in New Zealand. So what were those challenges? Well, the environment was different. I'd gone to university and I hadn't done any of that sort of learning for a very long time. And it's a new culture. It's new environment with completely new expectations, and I had to manage those expectations. They have their own language, academia. Oh, my husband calls them the ologies: ontology, epistemology, pedagogy, hertagogy, and very many more. But you are supported on the journey there, and your tutors are there to guide you through your challenges. I would actually say that perhaps I didn't utilize their support perhaps as much as I could have done. Find out where they are, find out how to get hold of them and when to get hold of them. So it's also one of the times that for me, it was the first time that I actually started to really get to know sports coaches from other sports. It's quite hard not to want to stay with your own group, and I had to get brave and find out how it was in their world. Some of the university days are very intense and very interactive, and this can be quite a challenge when you're with your peers, and you start to realize that actually people see things in very, very different ways. So I would also say again that those stayovers can really help you get to know each other and work together and get some really good relationships going. Sports science. Sometimes reading a piece of academic work, you can think, how does this relate to my sport? What's the relevance here? How does that work in my life and with my horse and rider? Is this relevant to my practice? Well, I think I can honestly say that the level 4 is more than a coaching qualification. Well, it was for me. It gave me the theory to wrap my practice around and to develop and nuance my coaching philosophy. And understanding how that theory and practice comes together actually helped me see things in a different perspective as well. It opened up a huge, exciting world. I got to talk to all sorts of coaches. I had a fantastic conversation with a swim coach, and we were talking about feel, and let's face it, equestrians usually bag that terminology. I've sat on the side of a swimming pool talking to a paddle sport coach, and he was coaching canoeists and teaching them to roll their canoe over, and he was putting sponges under their arms so that they kept their arms tight and they could turn in a more efficient way and not flay their arms about. We've been looking at the constraints-led approach for coaching, at that time. And here it was in practice. And it made me realise how very much we can learn from other sports and take it to our own. I was lucky enough to be invited into the Cromwell Hockey Coaching Club and get to chat to the hockey coaches. I sat listening to a young All Blacks coach who was really quiet, and yet the whole team respected him, and indeed so did the whole town. Wonderful experiences. But this course doesn't come to you. You get out of it what you put into it, and reaching beyond those boundaries did exactly that for me. As I said, things really came together as I did start to put the theory to practice, and I started a community of other coaches, and we're actually still going today, 3 years later. On our first induction day, we were it was suggested that it would be a good thing to find a mentor, a significant other, or a critical friend to support us through our journey. Well, I have been really lucky, and I have met 2 or 3 people who have supported me through this time, and I hope I've actually given something back to them as well. They have enriched my coaching, and they've never even been on a horse. I am now comfortable being uncomfortable, and the course has reignited my passion for learning. It's made me more curious, more creative, and I'm a better listener. Coming with this is that I am supported by a range of coaches in a culture of shared knowledge, and those coaches, equally curious, I feel I can reach out to at any time. They're people I've met on the course, and they're people that I've met through the course. And all of this actually spills out into my life. So it just remains for me to say, whatever path you take, whatever your coaching journey is going to be, I wish you lots of luck and happy coaching.